just saying it's nice to see a movie where...
Oh god, it's cracked. Oh, I haven't watched you guys for years. Oh, go on then.
We are not objects is written in big...
How did the droid get fat? Like I say, I've been away. Pardon me if you've done the joke already, but still, this situation is as sad as you look, Michael.
off bold letters on a wall. It's refreshing.
That pregnant woman kicked ass. You don't see that all the time. Pregnant woman kicking ass. Junior? Does Arnold's Junior count?
Okay, so the theme is stupid movies that are surprisingly progressive. That's the title of this video, and in the title, stupid movies that are surprisingly progressive, they put quote marks over the word stupid and not over the word progressive. What does this tell us, Watson? It tells us that these people are progressives. And what does that, conversely and rather ironically, make them? Stupid? Like with quote marks and a question mark. Stupid? No. Stupid? Stupid. Phonetic punctuation. Wait, shit. Is Victor Bosch dead yet? It was like 1,000 years old. This should probably be in public domain, surely.
Disagreeing with you.
What did I miss? I was tinkling.
Tinkling my ass! I know those eyes. Those are not the eyes of someone who went to the toilet for a mere tinkle.
I don't get why everyone thinks Mad Max Fury Road is some big old feminist masterpiece.
Yeah, me neither. I haven't watched it. But I'm gonna take a wild guess that it featured women kicking men's asses quite a lot. Am I close?
Mistress piece?
It's funny, isn't it? When a man and a woman have an extramarital affair, she is called the mistress, but he is not called the master. It is funny that, isn't it?
Point is, lots of movies have women in them.
Michael, do you think that feminism is just something having a lot of ladies in it?
That is how the Bechdel test works. Isn't it? You need at least 2 women and then you have to shut the fuck up about men. That's your official test, remember? I mean, the fucking nativity play doesn't pass the Bechdel test. There's a story about a woman giving birth to God. It's still not feminist approved. Yeah, and if you're all going... Not all feminists have to agree with the Bechdel test, then please stop calling yourself a fucking science. In science, the tests are supposed to give the same predictive results for every researcher, and if they don't, it's a useless test. The Bechdel test is not a scientific test. It's more like a ritual. A trial by ordeal. You just sit through a film and scour through every scene, looking for that precious moment when no men are present or being talked about. That is a feminist's idea of a test.
Ooh, yeah, I do, Katie, because I'm a super convenient straw man for your argument you wish.
Even your comebacks are getting fat, Michael. Yeah, I know you didn't write it. You let her write it. That's what I'm talking about.
I'm just saying, it's 2015 now.
It is. It is. It is so 2015, isn't it? People are going to be saying that for years now, you know. Like in 2051 or something, people will still be saying, because it's 2015, damn it! It's like as a joke or some shit. Because people will remember 2015 as the year when feminism's hat finally fell off and we all noticed that it had snakes for hair and a cinder block for a head. And it is not the spirit of strong, independent woman it disguised itself as, but rather is a blind, sick leprechaun from the upside-down dimension. You know, some of us laughed, and some of us just kept on worshipping the leprechaun harder and harder.
You know, the women should have to do something in the movie.
Silly droid? No, 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 no. It is sexist to want women to do things. women's job is to want things. Name me one movie where the men want things and the women do those things. I might call it the Dick Bell test.
That's why I love Kill Bill.
Now I have to wonder if Kill Bill is like a phonetic anagram of Bechdel and Bulldyke.
What a bitchin' feminist movie, right?
Yeah, I could do without the word bitchin'.
Is that why you just wrote it into a comedy sketch? Twice. I mean, do you want to ban everyone from using that word? Or just everyone but you? Incidentally, bravo for picking up on the first rule of comedy. Don't use offensive words. Yeah. That explains why my sides are currently in orbit around 2 different planets. From the singular craftswomanship of your rapier wit, my darling.
I could also do without that weird trope in movies where only after a woman has extreme violence brought against her by being, I don't know, shot in the head.
That's a trope, is it? Woman goes on rampage because she got shot in the head. Do you know what a trope is? It's something that happens on anything resembling a regular basis. It's actually quite rare for any story to be about the protagonist taking revenge for their own physical injuries. They're almost always taking revenge for someone else. Their wife or child, usually, or their country, or whatever. I mean, the trope in Kill Bill is that the person being avenged is, once again and as usual, a woman. The only subversion is she's enacting the retribution by herself, rather than men doing it for her. Again, name me a movie, or indeed a story, in which women enact retribution for male injuries.
Or, you know, rape. Shot in the head, 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 shot in the head. Or, you know, rape.
Here's your Dick Bell test. Click. Zip. What's it going to be? What would you find more tasteful? I'm going to keep trying to make this as clear as I can. If you find it more tasteful to insert a bullet into a woman's brain at the speed of sound than to insert a penis into her vagina at the speed of a mountain bike, you are the one with the problem. I don't know what the hell happened with you, but it distracted you severely from the sanctity of human life. You are welcome to your own opinions, but you do not have the moral high ground because of them. You have a demonstrable empathy deficiency. All right?
She comes into her true strength and power.
Yeah, I mean, imagine that. Why should a woman have to suffer in order to learn? That's men's job.
Also, it implies that a woman can only be badass if she assumes violent and traditionally masculine tendencies.
Okay. Fuck the rest of that sentence. It started with, it implies that a woman can only... ... Why? Does Thelma and Louise imply that women can only solve their problems by driving into the Grand Canyon? Does Junior imply that only a man can get pregnant? No! Unless you're a fucking crazy person who will use the narrative of women as victims to shit on anything they feel like shitting on. Like, every fucking time you see any fictional woman, you get to say, that's an unacceptable depiction of all womankind. It's not supposed to be a womankind, dickhead! It's a woman! A fucking individual. This is why there are so many shitty female characters out there. So many lukewarm Mary Sue nothings. Because no matter what you do, you cannot fucking win when it comes to people who give themselves license to judge individuals as though they represent collectives, whenever the fuck they feel like it.
Plus, for supposedly self-actualized and independent woman, she sure does talk about Bill a whole lot.
I mean, you just mentioned Mad Max. It's fucking called Mad Max, and it's about Mad Max. Does that not disqualify it, based on the guidelines you just gave? And given that Tarantino followed up with a Jewish revenge movie and a black revenge movie, I think it's safe to say Kill Bill was a female revenge movie. Give us your review of Inglorious Basterds. Go on. For a Jewish revenge movie, it sure does have a hell of a lot of Nazis. That would obviously be a joke, wouldn't it? Because to say that and actually mean it would be to mollycoddle the poor fainting Jews to a ridiculous degree of learned helplessness. Why do you think you should mollycoddle the poor fainting women to a ridiculous degree of learned helplessness? By, of all things, separating them from men and not even letting them mention men. And why? Because you were told it's okay. You were told it's okay by women like the greater spotted qual at your table there. Not only did they tell you it's okay to mollycoddle women, they told you it's misogynistic not to. I mean, extra misogynistic. Everything is misogyny up there in the cloud. And you all stay up there in your cloud because you find it easier than not doing all that shit. Well, while you're up here in the cloud, guess what? There are space lepers all over the place out here. And we're laughing at you because you're stupid.
Which is why I love Carrie.
Because she hardly ever talks about Bill the whole movie.
No.
The periods.
No. Well, actually, yeah.
Is it a stereotype that feminists talk about periods all the time? Because if it is, you might be... Oh, hang on, let me check my femtionary. You might be upholding that construct. That means repeating old bullshit.
Okay, it's only after she gets her first period that she discovers her telekinesis. I mean, she starts to embrace her womanhood, becoming what she truly is, which is a badass.
Yes, that is what makes a woman a hero. By functioning as biologically normal. You needn't help anyone else or make the world a better place. No, if you just show typical signs of being able to get pregnant, your job as a woman is done. I mean, if a man was saying this, it would be considered dehumanizing objectification. But it's a card-carrying feminist saying it, so it's all good. This is why no one can even...
Her mother's emotional abuse doesn't work on her anymore.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah, sure. The source of her power is her femininity instead of some horrible tragedy. But she's still adopting a masculine role as soon as she gets mad and kills everybody.
Quite a lot of my audience is yelling at the screen right now. Or at least yelling in their heads. I'm going to try and remain collected. Not collective, collected. Very important difference. She's still adopting a black role as soon as she gets mad and kills everyone. She's adopting a Mongolian role as soon as she gets mad and kills everyone. She's adopting an Islamic role as soon as she goes mad and kills everyone. You can replace that word with any group you like, and it's an unacceptable thing to say. With one exception. The only group that makes that an acceptable thing to say is male. Because men are actually violent, aren't they? They actually are. They just are. I mean, women do most of the child murdering and men do most of the adult murdering, but men are the only violent ones. We need to believe that, because equality. In my opinion, neither men nor women are violent. I think we might be the most gentle and empathetic and cooperative species in any kingdom ever. But no matter how compassionate we are as organisms, the idea that you can spread 7 billion of us across the entire planet and not get any problems, not get any wires crossed, is laughable. There are always going to be mistakes. There are always going to be horrific events. But if you insist on only holding half of the people accountable for the existence of violence, then you will make things not better but worse. Men and women are both equally prone to violence, sir. As are all peoples. Please do not deny women their inner warrior, and please do not deny men their inner doctor.
Women don't need to steal and kill to be badass. Just give me an interesting and diverse cast of female characters that don't have to resort to violence to be badasses.
An interesting and diverse cast of female characters who don't steal or kill or use violence. I mean, do you hear yourself? Literally, can you hear yourself? Or should you perhaps wait until 15 minutes after coming back from powdering your nose before you attempt to form an example of single think? An interesting and diverse cast, but no killing, no stealing, and no violence. Pardon, who are you? You had to steal and kill your way out of a violent situation? Physically or emotionally? You're a person who experiences hardship? The kind of hardship that creates a story? No, sorry, we don't want you. We want interesting characters. On some kind of meta plane, this is getting scarily close to that little phrase by which many a performing artist of colour is haunted. Sorry, dear, we can't use you. Wrong kind of diversity, darling.
Like Animaniacs.
Ho ho ho! Maybe you shouldn't have stepped right into my fucking wheelhouse, son. Very bad idea. Animaniacs was an episodic variety sketch show with like 15 different sets of recurring characters. It was pretty much a renaissance of the vaudeville format, which itself was a renaissance of the commedia dell'arte format. And it was fucking brilliant. One of the reasons it was so brilliant was because it was in a format that allowed for a broad range of characters, explored within their separate dynamics. And you want movies to be like that. You want a single movie to have like 7 different female leads, each in their own... You want a sketch show, basically. A feature-length sketch show of women walled off from each other. You can't figure out for the fuck of you how to just make, like 2 or 3 female characters who are human enough and flawed enough to create a conflict that drives a plot forward. So your solution is, fuck it, let's just take as many women as we can afford and cram them into the cinematic equivalent of rabbit cages. And that's how you achieve diversity. Yes, it is if you're conducting a scientific experiment. And as much as I appreciate scientific input, this is very much art we're talking about. Maybe you can't figure out how to achieve diversity in just 2 or 3 female characters, but there are people who can. They are called artists. They're very good at making complicated things simple. Scientists dream of the day they make a complicated thing simple. Artists do it all the time. The artists dream of the day they finally make something complicated enough. I mean, do you guys actually understand any of this? Or are you just... You've just been running on fumes this whole time, haven't you?
Seriously, give me one. Give me one.
Like, what are you doing?
Just give me one. Give me an interesting, diverse cast of female characters like Animaniacs.
I don't have one.
That doesn't quite answer my question. That was quite funny, but I don't think you know why.
God, I love Dot. She's adorable, and she's clever, but she's not afraid to speak her mind.
Any joke told by Yakko, Wacko, or Dot could just as easily be told by either of the other two, because they have completely interchangeable personalities. Oh, except for one detail. Dot is occasionally resentful of the other two. For reasons undefined.
And Slappy the Squirrel is great because she shows women that you don't have to be happy and cute all the time.
Did you see the switch? The bride from Kill Bill implies that all women have to be the same thing. Slappy Squirrel implies that women don't all have to be the same thing. Because reasons. It's one rule for the bride and the polar opposite rule for Slappy. Slappy's quite violent too, isn't she? Especially for a children's cartoon. I mean, she's fucking called Slappy because... Okay, this is what I mean. You judge individual characters as though they represent collectives, but only when you feel like it. When you intuitively like the character, you just switch that shit off and go, I like this character because it's not supposed to represent all women. For some reason, watching Uma Thurman twirl around in a deadly acrobatic fury makes you feel bad about yourself in some way. While watching a cranky old cartoon squirrel slap everyone around with a handbag makes you feel good about yourself. And that's fine. You can set your own aspirations in life. Don't let anyone else dictate them. But can you at least stop using this fucking brain trickery that you switch on and off to convince yourself that there are any intellectually or academically nuanced reasons for any of these preferences of yours? You feel comfortable identifying with Slappy Squirrel because you are a lazy, bossy, mouthy piece of shit. I mean, I know I nailed it, but just how hard did I nail it?
And then Minerva Mink and Marita the Hippo. I mean, two women owning the shit out of their sexuality, but they both have wildly different body types.
Yeah, if you hadn't mentioned the Kill Bill thing earlier, I wouldn't have much of a problem here. But if a woman can't take revenge after being raped, then what the fuck might you mean by owning her sexuality? So to me, taking fully autonomous revenge after getting raped is a top-tier example of owning your sexuality. But no, the bride is just a slave to hegemonic masculine gender norms. But Minerva Mink presents in various states of undress for the amusement of children. And that's more like it. Like, please talk to Anita Sarkeesian. I'd love to hear what she thinks of Minerva Mink.
Not to mention Rita the cat, who is in a very meaningful platonic relationship with a male.
Is that feminist now? Having a platonic relationship is good feminism. If it wasn't for feminism, we wouldn't have Plato.
Who is a dog, so romance wouldn't even be a good idea. Because the sex between species.
I'm waiting for that to become the next social justice cause. They'll take paedophiles, they'll probably take animal fuckers. Whatever it is, fine. Anything that isn't men and women fucking is progressive.
She even sings an entire song about not wanting to have children and how her biological clock shouldn't dictate her reproductive choices.
I'm nobody's mama.
Yeah, Rita's fucking awesome. Slappy's fucking awesome. They're awesome because they have plenty of room to be awesome. But like I say, when you ask that a single movie has a cast as diverse as an episodic sketch format, you're proposing we serve tapas to people who want steak. And this can only end in you looking for foie gras in all the wrong places.
What about Hello Nurse? The whole point of that character is how super hot she is. That's not very feminist, is it?
Yes, but she's also incredibly bright, and her sexuality isn't the entirety of her character.
No, it's just the first half. Hello is the sexual half. Nurse is the occupational half. I mean, of course, when you take a female scientist character and you make her sexy, that's objectification and misogyny. But when you take a sexy female character and you make her a scientist, that's empowerment. Somehow. Feminists don't care if they get exactly the same result as before. They just want to be able to feel like they did all the good things. As such, it is possible to navigate through the feminist obstacle course if you understand how manipulation works and if you can psychologically stomach it, as it were. But I should point out that Hello Nurse is a nurse, which is a kind of scientist. She's supposed to be smart. She's not necessarily supposed to be sexy. So you got that shit wrong anyway. And like I said, it doesn't matter. It's completely fucking random with you people. I could show you any female character and ask, is this character empowering or objectifying for women? And your answer is a total fucking crapshoot. Unless and until you have a cue you can take from a higher power, someone with more victim cred than you, who can confirm, yes, this is empowerment. I mean, until then, it is beyond predictability whether you'll say empowerment or objectification, because you are making this shit up as you go along. You can turn black into white and back again with ease and with no self-awareness, because you are and always have been much more interested in sounding intelligent than ever actually applying intelligence. You're bad at what you do, Cracked. I think you always have been.
Look, if you want to be Minerva Mink, a woman who steers into her sexiness at every pass, you can do that. Or, if...
Again, kids show. The very same people who will claim that AAA video games designed for adults should not contain sexual depictions of female characters, those very same people will then look at a strip scene aimed at children and go, yeah, that's fine. That's empowering. Both digital images, both designed and animated by men. One is okay, the other is apparently catastrophically problematic. And the one made for children is the okay one. Yeah, you guys are just... I thank you for being on top of all of this. And not hanging from the side like hastily sprinkled jimmies.
If you want to be a brainiac who happens to be incredibly attractive, you can do that too.
Yeah, pretty much called it, right? You could spin anything you like in any direction you like. And I bet if someone gave you enough money, you would find yourself spinning your jargon in the direction of their favour, wouldn't you? You can spin on a dime and declare any given thing as either morally good or morally bad. Remind you of anyone? Oh, you want to make an adult cartoon with sexualized women in it? That'll be 3 Hail Marys and the deeds to your house, but I could do it.
Yakko and Wacko sing an entire song about her academic accomplishments and amazing personality.
She has several PhDs, speaks fluent Japanese.
Exactly. Just another example of a woman needing approval from men.
No, she doesn't need it. She just likes it.
Yeah, another incredibly convenient ocean of difference poured between two rather subjectively comparable things. Let me guess. Women who speak out publicly against feminism are just doing it because they need attention. Whereas feminists just like it.
There's nothing wrong with wanting to be desired.
Unless you say there's something wrong with it. By declaring things masculine when you don't like them. Like violence. Yeah, what if you're a woman who wants to be desired for her strength? For her violence, even? That's not okay. That's too masculine. There's nothing wrong with anything unless you're a woman who shows any hint of physical aggression. And then it's stop that. That's men's work. You're just fucking wow. Fuck and wow.
Animaniacs, every proud age, size, and degree of sexuality is represented, and they're all winners.
I noticed you didn't mention Mindy. Why? Why?
A positive identity character for everybody.
Except the men, right? Who are all depicted as drooling idiots. Oh no, Chicken Boo. I guess they really do capture every kind of man.
Good one. Seriously though, Pinky and the Brain. I mean, that closes the case. Firmly. Every possible character is played out between the archetypes of Pinky and the Brain. Yeah, and it works because you'll never hear amassed complaints of why is the British one the stupid one? Or hey, not all men sound like Orson Welles, or some shit. Plus, Pinky and the Brain are the extreme opposite of interchangeable. I challenge you to think of any line of dialogue, I mean any possible conceivable series of words, and it's the kind of thing typically said by either Pinky or the Brain, but never both. If Pinky and the Brain were the same person, that person would be all people. But you cannot put Pinky and the Brain together. They can't collide and collapse like galaxies. They only exist in an eternal state of cooperation, of simultaneous oneness and difference. Atintia beta beta tappa, as is sometimes popularly rendered. Together we'll live forever, as they say. Be my reminder here that I'm not alone in this body holding me. We are eternal, all this pain is an illusion, and so on and so forth. I feel like I might have lost you.
That's why I always like Johnny Bravo. I mean, even though he's like hunky and assertive, which is what the media tells us a man should be.
No, it isn't. It's what women find attractive in men. At least in this particular historical period of ours. All the media does is tell men to fuck off and get back to work and shut up until you're ready to apologise to women for shit you didn't do. But women, in the meantime, are sending men the clear message: if you do all that shit, we will never fuck you. We're only attracted to the men who break all the rules we've made up. Have fun figuring all that shit out until you die.
He still fails miserably anytime he tries to hit on a woman.
Yeah, you love to see men fail. And you hate to see women fail. So you continue to enforce a system where men are always failing and women are always succeeding. And then you wonder why all the best stories are about men.
You smell kind of pretty. Wanna smell me?
Yes, and there's that one episode where he gets transformed into a woman and learns a valuable lesson about what it's like to be one.
Chicks are for looking hot.
That was a rather poor choice of clip, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's like that one video of the woman walking through the streets of New York for 10 hours. Except 10 years earlier.
And on slightly different planes of reality. Only slightly different.
And also an episode of Johnny Bravo.
And the episode even ends with a whole song about how great and strong women are.
And none of you find that at all patronising or pandering? No? Yeah, because you rolled the fucking dice and got an even number this time. Johnny Bravo gets our thumbs up because we just fucking like it. Can you not just be honest? Do you have to shore up with all this does it conform properly to man, bad, woman, weak theory? Can you not just say, I like this show because I think it's cool? It's not supposed to be a prescription for how people should act. It's just a description of a world someone invented. It has men in it. It has women in it. And they are different. Is that ever going to be possible? Even in fucking principle?
Clueless.
Okay, we're out of my fucking wheelhouse now. Fuck Clueless. Fuck Super Troopers. You people are too stupid to be this boring. This is bullshit. Oh, fucking skip.
Yes, all women. Gate. You know? Also, you heard gamers are upset about something?
I can't imagine what that might be. Oh, yeah. Oh, goodbye, Cracked. All good things must come to an end. Yeah, and soggy deposits of bum gravy like you will perish without all the good things. So, yeah. Goodbye. God bless. And fuck Cracked.